Good afternoon and welcome to another of Tim's Tech Talk videos here at Venom Motorsports Canada. So today we're taking a little bit of time to have a look at our X20. And this again is part of the Exposed series. So we're going to take a moment and run you through the bike. And we're basically going to start from the tail end and then work ourselves forward. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Ottawa. So a great day to make this video for you. So starting from the rear, and sort of moving our way forward, muffler, and again the muffler through the exhaust system with a catalytic converter which meets all of the California EPA requirements. So an important point to note. Rear hydraulic brakes, solid disc. You can adjust the suspension right here through the coil spring strut, and you can increase or decrease the actual height of the bike as well as the feel by this adjustment nut. Moving forward, again looking at the engine bay, engine area compartment, you can check your lube oil right here. When you've changed the oil out, you're going to put your new oil, and this would again be a 10W40 synthetic motorcycle oil. You're going to pour that into the fill spout right here, and you're going to fill it up to the top of the hash lines, which is 800 milliliters. When you put 800 milliliters in, you should be right there. And again, that is 800 milliliters of 10W40 four-stroke motorcycle oil. Looking into the engine compartment, you can see the fuel filter right here. The fuel filter goes up to the gas tank, from the gas tank down to the fuel filter, from the filter to the petcock on the carburetor. The fuel is on when the fuel indicator is pointing upwards and the handle is pointing downwards. Other things of note, right here coming off the carburetor is this overflow line, and the overflow line allows fuel to flow out from the bowl should the float get stuck in the open position. So this is a safety feature designed to tell you you've got a problem with your carburetor, and and of course not have fuel discharge all over the engine. So it's just there as a safety feature, and I just put that line back in place. Other things to notice, spark plug is located right here. This is the spark plug high tension wire that goes back and leads up to the coil inside the engine. You want to make sure when you're playing with the spark plug that the spark plug itself is nice and tight. Sometimes these will loosen up due to vibration. Make sure yours is nice and snug so you have really good compression. Without it, your compression will suffer and the bike will not run well. When it comes time to replace this plug, pull the plug out, take it to your local AutoZone or auto parts dealer, and they will give you a good replacement plug. I always recommend NKG. So if you have these numbers, AZRT0, you'll be able to find a replacement plug. Always best just to take it in, show your auto parts dealer what you've got, and they'll fix you right up. When we look at the bike has a choke mechanism up on the left handlebar. This is the actual choke mechanism right here. You want to make sure that when you're starting the bike, you always start the bike with the bike choked. Once the bike is warmed up and it's running, it's nice and hot, you can then move the choke to the fully open position. Now, we've been running this bike a little bit, so we'll probably be okay, maybe giving it just a wee bit of choke to get it started. And we're going to start this up for you in a moment. Again, moving forward around the bike, we want to take a quick moment and have a look at some of the instrumentation here up on the right handle. So, front brake, again hydraulic. This is the kill switch for the bike. If it's in this position, the bike is shut off. This is the normal position for running. Your lights are always on as a safety feature, but you can be low beam or high beam. This is your start switch right here. And in order to start this bike, you always want to make sure that the bike is in neutral. Neutral is going to show up here on our dash, and we'll have a look at that before we start up. Right mirror, left mirror, again adjusted so you can see over your shoulder to sort of see who's coming behind you. Choke mechanism. And this lighting switch is kind of an interesting feature. You can either have it in the downward position to direct more headlight energy down towards the road, or up, which is sort of the normal running position, which directs the energy more forward. Left turn, right turn indicator, and your horn switch. Moving around to the front of the bike, you can see your signal lights, left and right signal light, and you can see that the bike comes fitted with an incandescent bulb. One of the upgrades that some of our customers choose to do, or retrofits to their bike, is to change this and upgrade it to an LED light. I like to recommend that myself because the LED lights these days are remarkable. They produce twice the light in terms of lumens and use half the energy. So, great deal. Down here again, looking at the front disc, again, fully hydraulic, very, very excellent braking action. Coming around to the left side of the bike, points to note, if you have a look over here, you can see again that you have a vent line down here. And on this side of the bike, if you insert the ignition key, you can lift off the seat. And we're going to do that in just a moment. Your transmission is right here. And these bikes basically use a 1 down, 3 up gearing shift pattern. So again, 1 down, 3 up. And when you're playing and working through the shifting, just take your time, work yourself all the way up to through the gears on the tree, and then all the way down until you develop a sense or a feel for that. So we're going to take a moment now and pop off the rear seat. It's very easy. Just insert the key, click, and the seat will come right off for us. And what's interesting with this type of clip mechanism that's used on the seat is that you can easily pull it off, and I'm just doing it here with one hand, and have a look at where the battery is located. And from this position, you can see a few different things. So the first, of course, is the battery. You want to make sure your terminals are always nice and tight. That's both the negative and the positive terminal. Other points of note, right here we have the fuse. And this is the fuse similar to what you'd find in your automobile. So the fuse is in here. That's the main cartridge, and this is an extra for you. We can tuck that back down. I don't know if you're able to see that, but if you have good eyes, you're able to see that the CDI is on the right-hand side of the bike. And moving back a little bit, main wiring harness for your rear lighting. Now, again, another positive feature of this bike, the seat just snaps right back into place. That's just a thing of beauty. And you're all set to go. Moving towards the rear of the bike, you can see the right and left turn signal indicators. As well, this honeycomb light mechanism that you see here is going to be for your braking and running as well. This is just purely a reflector. All right, so the next question is, well, how do you start this baby? Always ensure that you are in neutral. Right now I have the steering handlebar canted over to the far left and locked. So when you park the bike, you can lock up your steering. Now that we're getting ready to start it, as soon as we insert the key, and you've got to insert the key and push a little bit, your steering is now released. And now the bike is in pre-start position, which means you want to make sure that the bike is in neutral, and you can see that indeed we are. We'll turn off the signal lights because we don't need those. The bike's in neutral. We're giving ourselves just a little bit of choke, not full choke. And that's what the bike sounds like. And you see it starts up, and it should start up just that easily for you each and every time. And now once the bike has had a chance to warm just a wee bit, because again it's a beautiful day here in Ottawa, nice and warm out, we can take the choke off completely. You never want to run the bike with the choke on for an extended period of time. Some people have done this in the past. You're going to foul your carburetor and foul your spark plugs, so it's just not a good practice. When you are warming the bike up, give yourself a little bit of throttle every now and then, particularly when the bike is brand new, because you're just in the warm-up period. Always good to vary the engine RPM. Even if you're just sitting parked, give it a little bit of gas, let it come back down. Don't hold it in a steady state position. You want to ride the bike for about 5 hours at varying speeds, and after that, go ahead, change the oil, and your bike is now pretty much broken in. So put in a good 10W30 or 10W40, which is my preference, for viscosity on these bikes. Motor oil, just make sure it's a 4-stroke oil design, and it'll be perfectly fine. You'll have this bike for many years. Enjoy the ride, my friends. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.